I've always wanted a sister.
Get it off me.
So remember that hilarious road trip movie We're the Millers from back in 2013? Well, it was a total surprise hit. You had Jason Sudeikis playing a low-key pot dealer named David, who gets roped into smuggling a ton of weed from Mexico by his supplier, played by Ed Helms. To make the whole thing look less shady, David recruits his neighbors, including Jennifer Aniston as a stripper, Will Poulter as an awkward teenager, and Emma Roberts as a runaway teen, to pose as his fake family. Now, despite not winning over all the critics, We're the Millers made a boatload of cash at the box office, nearly $270 million worldwide. With numbers like that, you'd think a sequel would be a no-brainer, right? Well, updates on We're the Millers 2 are a bit all over the place, suggesting that maybe the sequel isn't going as smoothly as we'd hoped. First of all, where are the We're the Millers cast right now? What's been happening with the stars of We're the Millers since that hilarious road trip adventure? Well, Jennifer Aniston, who played the stripper-turned-fake mom, is currently rocking it in the third season of Apple TV's The Morning Show. And hey, she also teamed up with Adam Sandler for another sequel, Murder Mystery. Jason Sudeikis, our lovable pot dealer-turned-dad, found success in the streaming world with Ted Lasso. Plus, he's been busy with other sequels like Horrible Bosses and even the Angry Birds movie. Emma Roberts, who nailed the role of the angsty Casey, has been delving into the world of horror with appearances in American Horror Story. You might also remember her from Scream Queens and Scream 4. As for Will Poulter, the awkward teen Kenny, he's been making waves in movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, Midsommar, and the Maze Runner series. Seems like our Millers have been keeping busy and making their mark in Hollywood. So will they return if the duty calls for We're the Millers 2? It looks like both Will Poulter and Jennifer Aniston are totally down for a We're the Millers 2 adventure. So you can count on Rose and Kenny to make a comeback. As for the rest of the gang, they haven't chimed in just yet, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't hop on board if the opportunity came knocking. Fingers crossed that Jason Sudeikis would return as David, and it would be awesome to see Emma Stone back as Casey too. And hey, if Nick Offerman, Kathryn Hahn, Molly C. Quinn, and the gang are up for it, we could have the whole crew back in action. But alas, it seems Ed Helms' Brad might not be making a return, since David's lying low and all. But hey, you never know what surprises might pop up in the sequel. Since the movie premiered in 2013, many of you may have forgotten what occurred in the previous installment. Allow me to provide a brief recap before discussing the plot of the sequel. The story starts with David Clark, a small-time marijuana dealer in Denver, finds himself robbed of both his money and stash. This puts him in a tight spot as he owes a considerable sum to his supplier, Brad Gurdlinger, with whom he has a history from college. To settle his debt, Gurdlinger demands that David smuggle marijuana from Mexico into the U.S. Realizing the risks involved in attempting this solo, David recruits his neighbors for assistance: Rose, a stripper using a stage name; Casey, a local runaway; and Kenny, a recently abandoned and naive teenager. Together, they form a makeshift family dubbed the Millers to help David navigate the smuggling operation. Upon reaching the compound, the Millers are surprised to discover that the quantity of marijuana they're tasked with picking up is far beyond what Gurdlinger had initially indicated, amounting to a staggering 2 tons. Throughout their journey back to the border, they encounter numerous checkpoints and are stopped several times. However, they manage to evade detection through a combination of bribery and fortunate circumstances. The strain of transporting such a large load takes its toll on their RV, causing one of the radiator hoses to break. The Fitzgeralds, Father Don, Mother Edie, and daughter Melissa, a family vacationing in an RV that the Millers had met at the border, catch up with them and tow their RV to a repair shop. On the drive to the store, they find that Don is a DEA agent, which puts them on edge. Kenny develops a crush on Melissa. After Kenny confesses that he has never kissed a girl, Casey and Rose teach him how to kiss. Melissa notices them and suspects they are having an incestuous connection. It turns out that Gurdlinger deceived David, revealing his true plan to steal the marijuana from cartel boss Pablo Chacon. When the Millers go to pick up their RV from the shop the next day, they are ambushed by Chacon and his henchman, One Eye, who intend to kill them. In a desperate attempt to save themselves, the Millers confess that they're not a real family and had no knowledge they were stealing from Chacon. Rose, under pressure, showcases her stripper skills by turning a steam vent onto Chacon, creating a distraction that allows them to flee in the RV, with Kenny at the wheel. However, Kenny's erratic driving causes the RV to crash off the highway. Amidst the chaos, a tarantula that had stowed away from Mexico bites Kenny on his testicles, leading to a severe allergic reaction. Rushing Kenny to the hospital further delays their drug delivery. To salvage the situation, David renegotiates with Gurdlinger for a fee of $500,000, with the condition that they deliver the drugs that night. Once Kenny is discharged from the hospital, David hastily transports him to the RV in a wheelchair, accidentally tipping him over in the process. This mishap sparks an argument during which David unintentionally reveals his substantial payment compared to the meager amounts he offered the others. Disgusted by David's selfishness, Casey, Rose, and Kenny decide to part ways with him, leaving him stranded at the local carnival. So right after David splits, he starts feeling guilty and heads back to find his crew. They're not thrilled about it, but they've got no better options, so they reluctantly agree to team up again. As they're heading back to the RV, One Eye shows up, ready to blast them, but then Don pops out of his camper and takes him down. Just when things start to calm down, Chacon pops out with Melissa as his hostage, ready to make some trouble. But hey, the universe throws them a bone. Fireworks distract Chacon for a sec. That's when David and Kenny jump him, while Kenny decides to be brave and lays one on Melissa, inspiring David to make a move on Rose. Don steps in and cuffs Chacon, but instead of throwing the Millers in jail, he lets them go, grateful for saving Melissa's skin. But the drama's not over yet. When David hands over the goods to Gurdlinger, turns out the dude never had any intention of paying up. Surprise, surprise. Next thing you know, the DEA swoops in and takes Gurdlinger away, all thanks to David ratting him out. Don tells David they're all going into witness protection until the trial's over, and guess what? Later on, we catch up with the Millers, now holed up together in suburbia under witness protection, with a little garden of marijuana plants growing in the backyard. The potential storyline for We're the Millers 2 could have explored the aftermath of the first film's ending, where David and his makeshift family are placed in witness protection after turning in the drug dealers they were smuggling marijuana for. The sequel could have delved into their attempts to adapt to suburban life while keeping their illegal activities under wraps. Alternatively, it could have focused on the repercussions of their actions, with their enemies seeking revenge. However, recent updates suggest that the sequel is unlikely to happen. Despite promises from New Line, both Will Poulter and Jennifer Aniston, key stars from the original film, have cast doubt on its development. Poulter expressed uncertainty about a potential reunion, while Aniston confirmed that discussions about the sequel had ultimately fallen through. Although there's been no official statement from New Line, the remarks from the main cast indicate that We're the Millers 2 is probably not in the cards. Well, that's it for today. For now, make sure that you like our video. Please share your views in the comment section with us. Subscribe to the channel to get updated, and do not forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you at the next one.